Douglas again, and I'm here with another episode of Momager. I have another special guest here that I'm excited about. Her name is Margie, and she has two daughters that she's going to talk about, and one of which is a special guest here as well, and her name is Casey. And today we're going to discuss the trials and tribulations of being a parent in this business and managing your child, and what other kinds of challenges there are being a parent. So welcome, Margie. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
It's good to be here.
Good. I'd like to also let you know I've been working on this project for quite some time, and I met Margie a while ago at a dance studio.
Yes.
And I was filming there as well, and it was a very enlightening experience because at the time, I'm a very structured person, and when I tell you that we're going to be at one place at a certain time, I expect you to be there and prepared. But she had a little trouble that day, and when I went around to each of the parents and I was talking, she got a little emotional, and I have a clip of that I'd like to show you.
Her dance is her passion. Don't get upset.
What happened was Margie ended up being late for the audition, and I am again, I take the whip out. You're late? Why are you late? You shouldn't even be here. Why is she coming in here? You know, that's who I am. But I understood once I had a conversation with her, so I never had to go to that with her. I never had to say to her, you're late, why are you coming late? I just kindly went to her, and I heard and I saw in her face. So tell me a little bit about that day.
I think that day we had a family gathering. I think it was around Christmas.
Yes.
So every year we celebrate our Dominguez Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
So I had already explained to the choreographer beforehand and other people that I was going to be late, or we were going to be late because of the family Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried so hard that day to kind of like, maybe we can leave a little earlier because of the shoot, that interview that we would have with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's a great opportunity also, so it's kind of like, it's kind of hard to kind of like, should I leave early? It's like
The
we don't
choice.
see, yes, and it's like we don't see the family also,
Mm-hmm.
like every month or every day. It's a 1 year thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a 4-hour party. So we're like, okay, we have to leave in an hour. We pretty much miss everything, but we also have this that's waiting. I can't wait, and I know it's also important. So I was kind of having trouble at that time,
Right,
making decisions, because they're both important.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that I'd like the audience to understand too is that it's all about communication in any walk of life, whether it's in a relationship, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, whether it's business partner, whether it's mother and daughter. It's all about communication, and it was never communicated to me that you had an event. So when you walked in, I just assumed you were just, I'm late, but I'm here, and I don't play that. But it was good that I took the time, instead of doing my norm, to sit with you a moment and understand your situation. I know she's getting emotional, and this is what I love, because this is real. Like honestly, we really didn't even conversate about this earlier, but you are going to have emotion. You are going to get upset. You are going to have to make big decisions, and your first thought is your child and everything that you could do for their success. Do I stay with my family that I never get to see, or do I go and do this audition with Tina, who I know her daughters have been brought to a different level, and I want to one day get my daughter to that level. So it's hard, and this is what Momager is about, the show. It's about letting you know what it takes to be behind the scenes. It's not all glamour, it's not all glitz. It may not be the perfect time. I remember once when Ashanti got her Grammy, nobody knew that she had cut her toe and her foot was bleeding as she was going to perform. There was blood all in the bottom of her gown. But those are the kind of things that you have to deal with. There happened to be a guy just like one of these producers here that had black tape and had to tape up her foot so that she could perform on the Grammys. So
Wow.
it happens at every level. And I didn't come bring you here to get you
No,
upset,
no, it's okay.
but I
It's
did want the audience to understand that there are emotions, there are decisions that have to be made, and sometimes you go through trials and tribulations, but the end result is always worth it.
Yes.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So that day, it was a great day though. I met a lot of moms, I met a lot of good moms, and obviously you were one of them. And you have a wonderful daughter by the name of Casey.
Yes.
So hopefully this changes your mood and talk about your baby. How old is Casey?
She's 11.
11 years old.
She's 11.
So she's between middle school and high school. Is she going into
She's in 6th grade right now.
6th grade? So she's middle school.
Yes. Well, she goes to Catholic, so I guess, yeah, I guess. Because after 8th grade, so I never really understood where, I know public, you have the middle school. So when people would tell me, she's going to middle school, oh my God, I said, no.
I don't want to hear it.
No, she's just in 6th grade. Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this. How long has Casey been in the business? Like what made you, I'm going to make this a two-part question. What made you decide to put her in this business, and how long has she been in?
Actually, when she was 4 years old, I've seen her at the house just dancing around. And we used to have this show. My mom used to watch this Filipino show. It's all about dancing and singing. And every time she'd hear a song, she'd always be in front of that TV and just trying to imitate and copy the dance. And she would get it right away.
Right away.
And then I just watch her, kind of like, oh, she likes to dance. You know, it's cool. And I used to videotape her almost all the time. Then again, as months go by, I said, and not only me could see it, other friends also, so they would tell me, I think you should register her for dance. You know,
Oh, so
just-
you influenced by other people
yeah,
recognizing.
like, yeah, because I mean, I know she could dance, she loved it, but at that time she was 4, so I didn't know what to like do, and as I'm working full time also, so I'm like, the scheduling, everything again, they start already. So I said, okay, let me try, and there's this one nearby us that a lot of people know about, and there's a studio that we went, and then, so I took her there, and then she loved it.
Okay.
She was 5 years old, I think, at that time.
So at that time, you decided she has talent. I want to take her to a dance studio
Yes.
and see where it goes from there.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want her to just dance, maybe just see how it goes. So it was kind
Okay.
of like a starting point for her. And then she enjoyed it. And then a year later, actually, the owner of the studio had asked me, you know, she wanted her to be part of the competition team.
Ah.
Yeah. So at that time, I'm like, oh, I don't know. You
So
know?
it was scary. Like you
Yeah,
weren't
'cause-
sure. Like it would mean more responsibility for her, more responsibility for
Yes,
you. Then you'd
yes.
have to think about schooling and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Which is another thing I want to ask, because a lot of people don't know that when you're with a child, there are child protection laws. So there are certain times of the day that your child can work. There are certain lengths of time they can work. After a certain time, there's permits that that you have to have. So tell us a little bit about how challenging that is, because if you don't have it, then you cannot be a part of the audition or the
Yes.
interview or the
Yes.
process at all.
Yes.
So there are steps that have to be taken. So let the audience know a little bit about an experience you may have had, that the procedure. Once your child has gone on the audition and she gets the job, what happens from there in terms of the piles of paperwork that you have to take care of?
Well, first of all, I mean, when she was seen by one of the talent agent, which she's currently in now, you have to go through all the process where I have to get the permit first. I couldn't take the, they advised me not to take the photos first because that comes later on, just to
Right.
make sure. So I had to go to school.
And they're expensive, correct? The
Yes,
photos.
yes.
Very
Well, at least,
expensive.
yes, they do, depending on who you get and what's recommended to you. But the product, I guess, is really like, it's great. But so I had to get a permit, from the school. I mean, approval from the school, the principal, and make sure that the grades are satisfactory. Because the agents that she's in right now, even if you're so beautiful, like you're so in demand, but if you don't do well in school, they will not take you because school is important.
Important point
Yes.
to understand. You can be beautiful, but not dumb.
So to them, to me, that meant a lot to me
Yeah.
too, because to me,
Yeah.
I'm a big, school is very important. It's
Yes.
a priority. It's a priority. So it's so many processes you have to go through. And then again, when she was booked for Target, we had everything. It took like 2 weeks to think, we had to go get all the permit. I had to submit in Albany. So you got to go to this. And plus the health, I have to go get that approval from her doctor, make sure she's healthy.
Yeah, so
And
it's a process.
Yes, it's a
You don't
process.
just get a job and go and get a check. There's a process that has to be followed. So you out there should understand that if you decide to take this path, the steps in which to take, it's going to be some work,
Yes.
and it's got to be something you're willing to do.
Yes, exactly.
And not only is it work, but it's sacrifice because, you have a family, you have another daughter,
Yes.
correct?
And a full-time job.
And a full-time job. So it's not easy.
It's not.
And I think that the audience needs to know that. One more question. Do you have a manager, or do you manage your child, or do you have an agent, or both?
They have an agent.
Okay.
Um,
That books jobs for
that
them,
books
correct?
job. Yes.
Okay, so when you have an agent, that means that agent gets a fee, correct?
Yes.
Do you monitor what the fee is?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Because I
Very
get
good.
all the paperwork's being signed during the shoot, just like she's booked with Target last year until this year. So
Great.
she did 2 of them. And everything is pretty laid out.
Right.
And I do monitor them. And then when we get the check, it's just right on the dot. It's
Right.
what's expected.
So you do not manage, you go through an agent, but do you consult?
Oh, yes.
Are you there? Okay.
Yes.
So that's important
Yes,
too, because
absolutely.
you don't necessarily have to manage your child to have them in the business, but you do have to trust the people that you surround your children
It's
with.
very important.
Because those are the people that can destroy
Yes.
a career,
Yes.
they can destroy a relationship, and I mean you and their relationship, but also you and your daughter's
Yes.
relationship.
Yes.
I've been there, and when I say I've been there, I have never experienced that because I managed my daughters, and I managed my daughters I started with no experience because I don't trust anybody. So I'd rather have no experience and learn my way and take my time and do it right than to get someone that I'm not really sure about. But everybody doesn't work that way. You have to, this is key also, you have to do what's going to be important for you, what's going to work for you. Every situation is different. Every situation is not necessarily successful, but it
Yes.
can be, depending upon what route you
I
take.
mean, that's true too. I mean, I have even if they have their own agent, but before I went through with them, I'm so anal with reading
Right.
stuff. So
You
I
have
study everything about the company and what I
You
should
do
expect.
research about the company.
Yes.
Good point.
Yes. It's
Before
very
you
important.
even before you got involved and signed, do your Dun and Bradstreets, do your research, do your lengthy, time-consuming but worth it studying about
Yes.
the company that you're going to be involved with. Because once you sign the contract,
That's it.
done.
That's it.
It's done.
Yeah.
So
So I did a lot of research on that one, and that's why, like what you said, maybe I do both. Like she has her own agent, and at the same time, I'm also there to kind of monitor it. So I see everything what they're doing, and again, been so grateful and thankful that they're so good that they take care of her and very accommodating.
Yeah.
Also when it comes to school, certain things, auditions, like I told them in advance that if it's okay, maybe like if it's after school, because she doesn't want to miss school.
Right. Which is important.
Yes, she's
very important.
She made a deal with me, like, Mommy, I'll go to all these auditions as long as after school.
Right.
So I respect that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to force her something also that she doesn't want to do.
Exactly.
So.
Well, thank you for that information.
You're welcome.
And next, I'd like to have our next special guest, which is her daughter, and her name is Casey. So we'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to Momager, the show. And I have a very special guest here again today by the name of Casey. Hi, Casey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you, and thank you for coming. Casey, of course, is the daughter of Margie, and I met Casey around the same time that I met you. And I have a couple of questions that I want to ask you. What do you like best about the business? I know that you dance. I also know that you model some. So between those two, which one do you like the best?
For modeling and dance, between those, I like dancing, but the dancing, I like it more because dancing has led me to modeling. When I auditioned, I danced, and that's what got me into the agency.
Gotcha. So when you dance, do you do all aspects? Do you do jazz, ballet, tap, hip hop?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to get an audition, and the audition said, I need you to be able to sing, dance, and model, how would you feel? Would you be comfortable doing that audition where it would have multiple talent?
I would be, yes, comfortable, but a little bit, scared or a little nervous because I don't sing. I only dance, I only model. But when I go to the audition, I don't say, oh, no, I can't sing. I have to try.
Yes.
Because if you say no, that's not.
You're off the list. They'll be like, thank you. which is, it's a reality. So in school, say for example, your mom told me you had a Target ad. How was that?
My Target ad recently. So if it's during a day of school of the Target ad is really fun. It's fun to work with different people every time. Because the first time I did a Target ad, 2 people, they had the same name, and it was really fun to work with them. And we just danced, we sang during the shoot. And the second time, it was different, completely different people. And we did the same dancing, singing, all those types of fun. Because when you go to a shoot, you have to be fun and active, not scared, so it shows your personality on the ad.
Right. Now, was it a print ad or was it a TV commercial ad?
It was a print ad.
Great. And that's one thing I'd like for you guys to understand, because there is a difference. With a print ad, those are the types of ads that you get in a Sunday paper. A TV commercial ad is movement, obviously, and you'll see it on TV or you'll be able to watch it on the internet. But what's important is, even if it's a print ad, as Casey said, she dances and sings, so that means that the camera has to capture her in motion and her in movement. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if she's smiling, if she's happy, that personality has to be captured by the camera. So it's not anything that's easy to do, but it's effortlessly if you have a natural personality to do it. And obviously you do, or you would not have been chosen.
Yes.
There's thousands and thousands of kids that will go out there, and it might be some of you out there that will sign up for an agency, and the agency will send them on a go-see or a cattle call. Those are, I think, some of the most, and you could agree with me, some of the most difficult auditions, because a cattle call is called that because it's just like bringing a herd of people in. It's any and everybody, and it could be 1,000 kids in the same room going for one part. Those are difficult because you have to outshine everybody. The go-sees are just as bad because it's like an open call. That's what the agent does, though. The agent kind of like narrows it down to, there are 10 great kids, and my child is one of them. And that's, I'm sure, is what happened with her. Is that correct? There's still competition. There's going to be another pretty, there's Casey here, there's a pretty Mary here, there's a pretty Darlene. So they're all in competition for this one role. So tell me what that feels about. I want to hear from both points of view, from yours and hers. I'm going to start with Casey. You go for the part, you see everybody, you have to be nice, everybody's sitting in the chair, you say hello, but you know you're going for the same part. And you know you want it. You know you're being nice, but you don't care about that other girl, but you still have to be nice. Once you do your audition and it's over, tell me what it feels like when you go home and you have to wait, because you might not get a call, correct?
Yes.
So tell me what that's about.
Okay, so when I go to the audition and I'm like the last 10, 5, 3 people there.
You know you have a good chance.
Yes, I have like a really good feeling. And then I go home and I tell my mom, oh, Mom, I think I really did really, really good, but sometimes I say, oh, I could have done better. But those kind of days, that tells me like, oh, that you just learned something. The next day you should do better than you did yesterday.
Well, that's a really good point. So let me ask you that same question. How do you feel? Because there are times when you could be there with your daughter to walk her in, but once she goes in that room, that door gets shut and you stand outside. And unless it's a thin door and you could listen, I used to do that. I'm not even going to play. I used to listen at the door to see if I could hear my daughter recite her lines. And if it's a thick door so you can't hear anything, what's going through your mind?
Nervous, actually. I'm more nervous for her. It's like, give you one example, like this weekend that passed. She auditioned for the Brooklyn Nets All-Star Kids. So they have about 150 audition.
150?
Yeah, so they would select probably like 50 out of that. Who knows, depending, I don't know what they're looking for. So it's nerve-wracking waiting. I mean, so I would ask her the same question after that, because I don't know what happens